meeting of Shawsheen Valley Tech for March 23rd, 2021. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Shawsheen Valley Regional Vocational Technical School District Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by accessing the meeting link. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately assess the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Shawsheen website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay, Ronald Fusco is here. Brian O'Donnell is here. Taryn Gillis, Paul Geddick, Nancy Asbedian, Bob Peterson, James Gillis, and hey, you changed your name, Kent, and Kent Moffitt, and Lisa Gallagher. And I'm Patricia Muse. Also at our meeting, there is Brad Jackson, the superintendent. There is Melanie Hagman, the assistant superintendent, and our two student representatives, Muhammad Ali Khalifi and Madison Fusco. All right, student representative report.
Hello, everyone again.
Yeah, you are.
So for events, so on March 4th, 2021, the students were the student progress reports were posted on Aspen. And the Shawsheen Robotics team also had a virtual competition on March 6th, 2021. And although the team had some unfortunate errors of connecting, they're able to secure 10th and 11th place. And they voiced teams from England and Hawaii and New York from all over the United States and a few other countries as well. Skills USA districts took place on March 11th. And the Shawsheen students earned 24 gold medals, 26 silver medals, and 12 bronze medals.
Awesome.
As for a co-op update, so although students are already out on co-op, other students are other seniors are also going up on co-op, and juniors started to become eligible for co-op or during fourth quarter, and many of them already finished the paperwork and are planning on going out for co-op in the next few weeks.
Right.
And for athletic updates for the fall two sports, the varsity football had a record of 1-0. The varsity volleyball held a record of 0-3, and the fourth game was supposed to be tonight at 5:30 p.m. The JV volleyball record was 3-0. The fourth game was also supposed to be today at 4:00 p.m. The junior varsity football record was 2-0. The freshman football record was 1-0. And then although the football and the cheerleaders, since there's no competition, they aren't versing any other teams, but they're still working very hard and they're cheering regularly for the football game.
Okay, I do have one question on that.
Yes.
First thing you talked about. We had some kind of competition and you said you had trouble with connecting. Did that affect the outcome? Or?
It did. So for the robotics team, they only give us a limited time slot to compete.
Okay.
And because there's some connecting errors and then the rules they set out weren't sent over to teams, so there's a slight misunderstanding. So our robots weren't able to compete on the second half of the competition.
Oh, okay.
So that reduced the points. So we only competed halfway through the competition, or only got halfway through the points. And then we weren't able to get the other half, which affected us. But we still did pretty good, getting 10th and 11th place.
Right. Yeah. That's too bad, though.
Yeah. There's another competition coming up on March 26th as well.
All right. So was it our problem? Was it on our end that we couldn't connect, or?
It was. So basically, the rules they had weren't listed specifically. and like the code that the students wrote on the laptops, they had to be in a different format for it to work, but it wasn't written down in the rule books. So there's that slight misunderstanding that took place.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Madison, do you have something to say tonight?
Yes, I'm just continuing on with our news that we have. So upcoming 10th and 11th grade students will be having their English MCAS on May 11th and 12th. And the Mathematic MCAS will be coming up on May 24th and the 26th. Also, students will be returning to 100% remote learning on May 3rd. I mean, yeah, it's okay. We're going back to regular school on May 3rd. That was a misunderstanding. And a few students were concerned about that. I don't know what was entailed in the email, because I think I don't know if it only went out to parents, but I never saw it. But I know some people are confused as if we have the option of going in or not, if like some people are still uncomfortable with actually being completely in school. And seniors particularly are weary about it, considering the fact that we'd only be in the building for 2 academic weeks. So some people think that it might be like, senior year, we only having 2 weeks in the building, it seems kind of almost pointless. But on the contrary, there are many other students who actually think it'd be beneficial, and 2 weeks better than nothing. So some people are all equally as excited about it. And I literally I just read the note that said that students who opted for 100% remote have the option to stay 100% remote or switch to 100% in person. And students who chose hybrid model are required to come in 100% for in-person learning. My apologies, just slight mishap.
It's all happening fast.
All right, that's excellent. All right, is anything else from either one of you? Or,
Well, I don't think so.
well, we appreciate you being here. You do not have to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you're welcome.
Oh,
Okay.
where are they gonna go? Got homework to do?
Ah,
A
might
whole
have-
English essay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was saying an English
All right,
essay.
you're excused.
Gotta get
You're-
that.
I hope they have homework.
You're
too.
excused.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot. Okay, I was remiss to mention that this was actually Mr. O'Donnell's first meeting. He was just elected in Bedford. So welcome again.
Welcome, Brian.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Welcome.
Brian,
Okay, approval of bills and payroll. We don't really do those. We do them remotely. All right. Approval of
bill.
minutes of
You have the bill
February.
from-
Well, that's in
Howard.
correspondence. We usually do that in correspondence.
The bill from Howard?
Yeah. Approval of minutes of February 23rd, 2021. I need a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Abstain. I wasn't. in
Right, you
attendance.
weren't here yet.
Only remotely.
Ms. Gillis,
yes.
Mr. Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Abstain.
Mr. Moffett,
yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis. You're muted, so is that an abstention?
How about now?
All right, now I hear you.
Abstain.
Yes, okay. All right, and the chair votes yes. Approval of executive session minutes of February 23rd, 2021. Mr. Fusco,
We made a motion on that?
oh, I need a motion, yeah, that'd be
I'll
nice.
make a motion. I'll make a motion. We accept the executive session minutes of February 23rd,
Can I have-
2021.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fusco,
And I'll vote yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Abstain.
okay, Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Mr. Moffett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Abstain.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Abstain.
The chair votes yes, so the minutes are approved. All right, correspondence. There was one thank you card from, I actually couldn't read the name. Was it Miss Labella?
Stacy Lavella, I thought, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then we have a bill from Howard Greenspan in the amount of $300. So I need a motion.
So move for approval.
Second,
All right, Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Fusco,
yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedient,
Yes.
Mr. Moffett,
yes,
Ms. Gallagher.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, so the bill is approved. All right, now is the time for public comment. The dial-ins, I believe, are shown right now.
So also included in the packet, as well as the posting online, was school committee policy BEDH on public commenting procedures. So that was posted with the minutes, and included in that, those procedures are that individuals who wish to speak during public comment session must register to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. I have no such, have had no such registration.
Okay, so you put this in with
This
the
was.
agenda?
Yes, the agenda was actually a 2-page agenda that included the agenda and the minutes themselves, the
Public
policy.
participation, okay.
So the policy was just put out there just so people could understand it.
Yeah, so why don't we wait a few minutes, see if anybody does want to call in case they didn't see this before? Is that okay with everybody?
Mhm.
Well, that was my question. So the policy that was just put out so people understand when they call in what the policy is.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to tell us they're going to call in.
Okay, because I had some questions about the policy, if we were actually going to be taking a look at this.
Right.
Where we have, yeah, so that's fine. We can maybe talk about it after.
All right, well, it's already been approved, the policy.
Yeah, it's just with the whole COVID thing going on, and I just had a
Okay.
question about the agenda being posted prior and any attachments, if those would be posted prior so the public could view that.
Right,
So if they did have any questions and wanted to register, they would at least have the information that we have.
yes,
So the agenda and all attachments will be posted prior to the meeting?
not all of the attachments. This was just the policy.
Yeah,
About public
I guess my question, Patty, is if somebody wants to call in or register,
Mhm.
are they gonna see the agenda along with all the attachments? So if they do want to call in, that they can be prepared. So if we're talking about policy, if we're talking about an outing or something, are they gonna have all the information that we have that goes with the agenda? So they can view it and then register?
No. The simple answer is a no, because they
So
wouldn't
why
have it
wouldn't we
anyway,
do that?
because the stuff hasn't been voted on. It doesn't become public record until our meeting.
The agenda's posted, so people know what we're
Yes.
talking about. They
Yeah.
just do not know the details.
But I think, I guess maybe, and I hate to use Tewksbury as an example, but I know in the past, they would post their agenda along with any attachments that the school committee was viewing. So if anybody had a question, at the time of the meeting, they would be able to go in and be prepared. So if you're going over a policy we haven't voted on those, like say, for example, it's a policy. We haven't voted on the policy, but in order for the public to, comment on it or have any input, they should be able to see it. So along with the agenda, we should be also posting the attachments. So other districts do it. I'm not sure why we're not. And I would make that suggestion that if we're going to be going forward with the public comment and registering, at least that the residents have that information prior to registering.
All right,
Madam Chairman, I would agree with Ms. Gallagher. I think that anything that's sent out with the agenda, including any attachment, unless it's a matter of executive session, should be
Yeah.
with the agenda. You're asking the public to comment on something they haven't seen that we have. And I think once it's disseminated, unless it's a matter of executive session, it's a public record anyway.
Well, it's actually not public record until it comes in front of this board.
Well, does that mean comment would come at the following meeting after everything has been made official? That's kind of.
What is, okay, what?
It's like putting the, cart before
That
the horse.
doesn't have effect that you want it to have. You want the input as we have our discussion. Right?
If I could suggest, perhaps this is an issue that the the policy subcommittee should consider for whether or not, whether it wants to adopt a policy regarding disseminating its meeting packet prior to the meeting in conjunction with the new policy. It just wrote BDH, but at this point in time, there are no, I have no record of anybody calling in for over the course of these last few moments during this conversation.
Just so you're aware, I mean, prior to me getting into this position, when Mike Kelly held it, Mike used to always post the agenda and any attachments to online, just so our constituents had it. So I don't know how this is any different from that.
Okay, well,
Again,
I
if
didn't
it's a
know
matter
that.
of-
So
if it's a matter
obviously
of-
I didn't have his online.
I'm sorry.
I said, I did not know that. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
how
and
people do that.
Tewksbury's done it. Tewksbury, I think, still continues to do it. So I'm not sure why this would be any different.
Does that mean
Okay.
bills would be also published? I don't know that that's,
Well, I don't see why they wouldn't be. I mean,
I think those are all public record.
it's all public record.
they are, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
they all become public record after it
After the
comes to this
fact, yeah.
meeting. Yes. But yes, we certainly could publish everything if you want it. I mean,
Yeah, I think that would be, I mean, it's all about transparency. and
is
we need
that
to really be
something someone
transparent.
wants to put out there right now, or should we wait till the next meeting?
I think
I
if,
think we.
I think we should do
that
what
much.
Brad, I think we should do what Brad recommended, basically that it goes for the policy subcommittee and they vote it, and then it comes before the entire board to vote on it.
I think it's an entire board issue. I don't think it's a policy committee issue. I mean, if I'm representing Tewksbury, I'm going to make sure that my constituents have what they need.
Yeah, but
So
that- well, the subcommittees do not make the final decision anyway. So it would come to, if it came to the policy subcommittee, they would vote yes or no on it and whatever they,
different than the budget,
whatever,
Yeah,
and then
vote
they bring it
yes
to
or
the
no
full
on it.
committee.
But it's no
But even
different than
if
the
they
budget.
voted no, it would come to the full committee.
Yeah, it's no different than the budget. Basically, the budget subcommittee puts a recommendation forward on the budget. We can't, we're just putting forth a recommendation to vote on that. So that would go before, and then the whole board would vote on it. So that's why I'm saying I agree with Brad that basically if you put that forth. But no, I agree with Ms. Gallagher. I think that same thing, and Mr. Peterson, that for transparency, I mean, because the same stuff should be provided to the towns. Because I mean, if I'm Burlington or I'm Tewksbury or any of those, they're going to the town site to a lot of times look at it. So a lot of times you probably should have that information both on Shawsheen's site and on the town's websites. I mean, you can't guess, but you can, you should be able to provide that information to the town to be able to post that. I mean, I know Burlington High School, the Burlington School Committee does that. They post it on the site on the town.
Yeah, I mean, our agenda if we just posted the agenda like in our respective towns, that's one thing, but on our actual Shawsheen tech site, we should be able to post the agenda and all attachments. I mean, they're going to be posted anyways after the meeting. Well, they should be, but I mean, we should be posting them prior. So, if there's a question about the school calendar or anything like that, then, residents can have, the information prior to the meeting to register.
No, but I think also like if you're given the same info there, it should also, the town should post it as well. 'Cause, I mean,
Yeah.
The agenda.
Lisa, do you want to make a motion? You can make a motion right now and we'll.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that going forward, we post all agendas and attachments unless it has anything to do with executive session on our respective town sites as well as our Shawsheen Tech School Committee site. Sorry, Shawsheen Tech
would
site.
second that, Madam Chairman.
Okay. Mr.
I'm
Fusco. Oh,
Could
what?
I,
You wanna
could I
say
just,
something?
could I Also,
Yes.
just, I speak, I can certainly provide this information to the 5 towns, but I cannot be held responsible for whether or not they post it or not. So,
Well, I think what happens, I will tell you what happens in Tewksbury. They post it on their website.
so
That's where
we
you
can
post it.
provide it to the town clerk's office of the 5 communities as well as post it on our website.
Okay.
If that's the committee's wish, but I just want to be clear that I don't have the authority or access to post something on the
You don't, but
town
we
of
do.
Burlington
I ask the
website.
town clerk for Burlington to do it. So if I go to the town clerk and I ask her, she'll do it. If I ask, I mean, I can't keep, but I'm saying if I'm coming and saying like, can you post it? I can change that. Like
I
I
can
can,
certainly ask. I agree. I'm not trying, I'm just saying,
Oh, I don't know if Tewksbury's is on the town. It's on the Tewksbury website, the school website.
but we certainly can post it on the Shawsheen Tech website. That's not a problem. And we can share it with the town clerk's office at the same time we share the agenda.
Okay.
Remove the question.
Well, Ms. Gillis, Sharon, yes.
I was just gonna say that I don't have any opposition to this, obviously, but if someone, like, for example, the draft of next year's school calendar, if a parent had a concern about it, they wouldn't, like, right now, they wouldn't have seen the school calendar. But
Right.
they could still come to our meeting and voice their concern. And we all understand that they haven't necessarily seen the calendar and that their concern may not be applicable. It doesn't mean we don't listen to them. It doesn't mean they're not welcome to speak. And we all understand that they don't have all the information. I'm not saying we don't change the policy. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily a crisis that we haven't been sharing this information, because people are still welcome to speak, even if the answer ends up being that's actually, already part of the calendar, or don't worry, it's not part of the calendar.
Well, the other thing too, I think, Taryn, is that, with the amount of time that people are allowed to call in, I'm not sure how this is going to change going forward. I mean, there are people that, see the number and they're trying to call in. And I've known people that actually call me after the meetings and say they tried calling in and couldn't get through. I mean, so if it was a matter of of us just posting the information like on the calendar, say it's like Rosh Hashanah and somebody had a question about like what day it fell on, at least they could reach out to you, they could reach out to me and say, hey, listen, just want to bring this to your attention in case they can't make the meeting. I mean, again, it's a matter of transparency and the information should be out there. I know that, again, prior to me, Mike Kelly used to always post it. The tech never had an issue with that. So I think we should just do that. I mean, whether or not they post the additional information in our respective towns, as long as they post it in the agenda, that's fine. But we should be doing it on our site, the agenda, as well as the attachments.
All right, I do have, this has nothing.
So Jim had a
this has
motion
to do-
to move it,
right.
whatever it was.
I do have something about phone calls though, because we put them they go in line, right? So we wouldn't have missed somebody's call. Is that right, Brad?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. It was a matter of somebody trying to call in and the number was up there and I don't know, something happened. But I mean,
All right.
we should, the other, before we get off this, the other question I really have
We
too.
have a
maybe
vote, though. We're actually in the
Okay,
middle
sorry.
of a
We're in the middle of a vote.
Right. Ron,
Just a comment before I vote. I
okay,
think Patty and Jimmy and Bob, you've been on. I'll just go to my veteran members. This should have been done for years. So I'm glad going forth. Yes, I vote yes.
okay. I think what happened is people who came to our meetings, they were given the whole packet.
Right.
Mhm.
Those people who were interested, and that's how they knew it. All right, Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ms. Asbedian,
Yes.
Mr. Moffett,
yes.
Ms. Gallagher.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, unanimous vote. Okay, Superintendents Report.
thank you and good evening. 2 things I wanted to report on very quickly. First of all, based on I wanted to follow up from the last meeting and the request that was made by a caller. We are working on the development of a website to have a lot of information about social emotional learning and resources. I had hoped to have that available to show you tonight, but it is not completed. So I'm hopeful by the next meeting, I'll have something to show you there. Also, I did want to reiterate what the students reported. Shawsheen Tech will be opening to 100% in-person learning on May 3rd. The people who are currently 100% remote, those families are receiving a survey today, and will be able to choose whether they remain 100% remote or whether they would like to switch to 100% in person. All the people who are currently hybrid, meaning they are in person for part of their 2-week experience and currently remote for their academic piece, will move to 100% in person on May 3rd. And that completes my report.
I was going to ask you about that social emotional info because someone asked it at the last meeting. Well, thank you. All right, subcommittee reports. Policy subcommittee.
Oh, policy. Yeah, so the policy subcommittee met on the 9th of March to discuss the parent Facebook page and appropriate language to be used on it. After discussion, we decided to invite Mr. Bagby from the president of the STA to the second meeting, which we had on the 16th. And after an extensive discussion, we agreed to table the issue.
Budget subcommittee. Moffett.
So the budget subcommittee met tonight to approve the assessment. The recommendation is to approve the assessment presented by Assistant Superintendent Hagman and Superintendent Jackson.
I'm going to ask Melanie if she'd like to just go over it quickly again for the whole committee.
Sure. You want me to do that now?
Yes.
So we just received our certification for free cash from DOR, and we are currently at $1.6 million, which is 5%. We are legally allowed to have 5%. Anything over 5%, as you know, we do have to return back to our member towns. So when this came in, I sat down and I talked to Mr. Jackson. We went through it together. And in light of, the pandemic and everything going on, we decided that we wanted to recommend $1 million to use from free cash to help offset the assessment. The reason we came up with that number is because at the end of last fiscal year, we weren't sure where the state was going to end up with the FY21 budget. And the recommendation from DESE was to reduce your Chapter 70 revenue and increase your free cash if you could. And at the end of June last year, you guys all agreed and we voted to do that. We had already planned on using some free cash, but we increased it. So having said that, now that we have the final FY21 numbers, we're looking to receive about $470,000 additional revenue above what we budgeted. So at a minimum, that amount of money will replenish this $1 million. And then there's, that we always have expenditure savings here and there, either faculty members being hired, after July 1 or teachers maybe after September 1, or just, out of all line items, you're typically going to have a little bit of savings here and there. So we felt safe saying the $1 million. The goal has always been to keep it at 5%. It's not that every year we want to use free cash. We don't think that's really the plan. Historically, we use it for capital improvements. But again, in light of everything going on, we thought it would be good to help the communities, and knowing that we're going to get a minimum of 470 additional in revenue that will automatically go to replenish the $1 million we're recommending to use.
Okay, thank you. Ron, do you want to make that motion because you were at that subcommittee meeting?
Yes. So I'll make a motion that we approve the assessments. Do you want me to
You have
read?
to read what's
That's a
written
formal-
down.
Do you want me to read it, Ron, or do you want to do it?
Why don't you read it, Kat? I'll toss
Sure.
it to you.
I move to approve the fiscal year 22 Shawsheen Valley Regional Vocational Technical High School budget of $33,505,515, which includes total assessments of $25,285,210, and to further apportion the assessments to district community as follows: Bedford $859,598, Billerica $9,718,263, Burlington $2,593,065, Tewksbury $6,843,037, and Wilmington $5,271,247. So
You need a second.
Second.
Okay,
On the motion, Madam Chairperson, I
Yes.
have a question for Ms. Hagman, if I may.
okay.
Ms. Hagman pointed out that we normally use a significant portion of our E&D money for capital improvements. What was the total amount of funds allocated in fiscal 21 for capital improvements? I don't have the budget in front of me.
He decided he's not. Minus a few of the updates that need to happen. Okay, he's a little cute. Come on in. Thank you. I think this is just adorable.
Our total capital budget was $1,592,517, and our assessment to member communities was $1,254,084.
How about fiscal 22, Mel? What will the capital budget be?
The budget you voted had a total capital amount of $1,217,542, with total assessments to member towns $1,035,114, which is per the numbers that we've been working with the town for.
Opportunity we have to get a buyer into the home.
Okay, any other questions? Ron Fusco,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes,
Mr. Gillis.
you're
That
muted.
was a yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Ms. Asbedian, you're muted.
Yes,
It's these iPads. I didn't touch anything.
I know. Mr. Moffett,
yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Yes.
the chair votes yes, unanimous vote.
Oh,
Thank you.
Just so everybody's aware, Superintendent Jackson and Assistant Superintendent Hagman said going forward, once the budgets are approved, they'll be posted on the Shawsheen site, because I've had a couple of questions where people are looking for them, so
Yes.
we can point them in that they'll be on the website.
They actually both are, the budget and the capital budget are already on the school committee website. And we'll be notifying the town managers verbally tomorrow of these numbers. And at some point in time, Ms. Asbedian, we're going to write up some letters that you have to kind of send on our official stationery to the towns, notifying them of their assessments for FY22, so they can put those in their town meeting warrants.
okay.
So we'll let you know when those are ready.
The draft 2021-22 school calendar.
So included in your packet is a draft 2021-2022 school calendar. We are again faced with a late Labor Day in 2021. This coming September is Labor Day is September 6th. which is the second latest Labor Day we can have. And because of that and a concern regarding that we had this year regarding potentially ending the school year really, really late in June, I did take it upon myself to approach the president of the STA to see if they would be interested or willing to despite the contract language, if they would be in support of a school calendar that would begin before Labor Day, and received their positive response to that inquiry. So included on is the calendar that would begin with a teacher professional day on August 25th and 26th. The ninth graders would then report ninth grade only on the 30th, and then all students report on the 31st. That would make the last day of school without snow days of Tuesday, June 14th. We are required by law to designate 5 days beyond that point for makeup days for any school cancellations. There is a new state holiday that needs to be considered in June. It is called Juneteenth. And it is traditionally, it is on June 19th is the holiday, but because it falls on a Sunday, it is the state holiday in 2022 will be June 20th. So the 5 days that would we have to put in the calendar would be the 15th, 16th, 17th, 21st, and the 22nd. We were talking, the commissioner had a meeting today with superintendents, and the question of whether DESE is going to allow districts to use remote learning during snow emergencies. At this point in time, it is DESE's policy to not allow that, but it is a policy that they will be reviewing before winter comes. However, we still have to, at this point in time, their current policy is that districts, absent the COVID crisis, will not have the option of allowing remote days in inclement weather. So we have to account for those 5 days. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
And just a quick question, have we opened pre-Labor Day before?
This year. Well, actually, we were scheduled to do it this year, but the state moved the first day of school back to 10 days.
But I mean, prior to this crazy time, we haven't done it.
Nance, I will speak on as a former faculty member. We never went before Labor Day. And then one year, we changed it, a contract, Jimmy will tell you. And we said, what are we doing when Labor Day was late? Because you could go to the end of June. So yes, Nance, there was concessions made in the contract, and now we start. And this year is really weird. So yes, it's now different.
Yeah, it's very different. Okay. Thank you.
So do you want a motion on that calendar?
Yes, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Moffett.
Yes.
The chair says yes, it's unanimous vote. Okay, school committee meeting dates.
In accordance with school committee policy, we're proposing the dates in your packet for the 2021-2021 school year, and ask for your approval.
I have a motion.
So motion.
Second.
Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
On behalf of Charlie Fiore, yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Moffett.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, unanimous vote. Out-of-state travel request.
Yes, as you're aware, the Italy trip has been canceled now for 2 Aprils. And this is a request by the Mr. Bagney, the traveling Rams advisor, for permission to do a trip next in April of 2022 for the traditional Italy trip.
I'll make a motion that they go to Italy, and I hope they get there.
Second.
Fusco,
C.
Ms. Gillis. You're muted, but
That
I,
was my Italian.
Yes.
That was my attempt at Italian.
Was that for me?
yes, no, Mr. Gillis now.
Oh, C.
Okay. Mr. Peterson,
Yeah.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Mrs. Bedian,
Can we go?
I'll see what I can do, Nancy.
Back to John Bagney.
no, it's up to John Pack, Mr. Moffett,
Should take the whole school committee.
Mr. Moffett.
Yes.
Yes. Did I get Ms. Gallagher?
Yes.
The chair votes yes, and a unanimous vote.
Yeah, do we have any old business? You skipped over that. I don't know if there was anything.
Oh, we did skip
No.
over. I'm sorry.
Andy, I got your back. You know I got your back.
I do have a question about, well, one of my questions was social emotional, and he already did that, but
Got it.
how about graduation and prom? How's that going?
So the state has issued new guidance on graduation that we're studying. At this point in time, we are hoping we can do a traditional graduation on the football field, allowing graduates and 2 adult guests, as well as the complete dais of dignitaries. So we're targeting the traditional graduation date. At this point in time, the senior prom is scheduled for, I think, the Tuesday before so graduation is Thursday, the Tuesday before that. And we are reviewing the possibilities of right now, some of the challenges around the capacities of halls is there's a lot of difference between New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and the senior prom is scheduled to take place in New Hampshire, and which has some leniency to the gathering size. So our goal at least is to have a prom for the senior class that may not, is the possibility is it would not include guests or dates that are outside of the class, but at least so the class can be together and in a more traditional prom-like atmosphere. Right now, the gathering size in Massachusetts doesn't allow that. The gathering size in New Hampshire does. So we're sticking with the gathering size in New Hampshire right now.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Our goal is to provide as normal a senior experience as we can, and and we're making every effort we can to do that.
All right, thank you. All right, how about future agenda items?
Patty, I just wanted to ask a question. I don't know if this has been addressed, but I had a question about how we're conducting grade 9 interviews. So I'm just trying to find out, like, when are they starting? You know, when are parents receiving or students receiving their letters of, you know, interviews, how that process is gonna work, who's conducting it?
All right, Mr. Jackson.
The grade 9 interviews have been completed. Well, let me back up a little bit. Deadlines for applications for grade 9 was February 3rd. All students who applied by that deadline have been interviewed. And we are reviewing their records. We've done a records request to each school for.
I'm sorry, with COVID going on right now, how were the interviews conducted? Still in person?
They're being done remotely. All of them. So we expect to be able to notify our first round of acceptances either later this week or next week.
And what information with COVID happening last year, what information are we using? I know typically we've used, like, was it like grade 7 information? Are we going back further? Like, how are we doing that?
We are using grade 7 information as far as it is available. Some districts didn't give grades after COVID hit in March. So we're using grade 7 information as far as it is available, and the first half of grade 8. Which is traditionally done. And then the same is true of attendance. So attendance through the statewide closure of schools in March of their 7th grade year through, and then their 8th grade attendance.
Okay, all right. And who's conducting the interviews?
The interviews are conducted by Ms. Lesko, and there were a few early on in the interview process that were conducted by her administrative assistant, and that practice, when I became aware of it, I stopped it. I wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah, isn't guidance usually the ones who handle that?
That hasn't been our practice.
Not anymore, Lisa, not anymore.
When did that stop, Ron?
I think a couple of years before.
I tell you,
Brad,
my kids were interviewed by guidance.
I
I'm not
know,
sure.
and so was mine. Before Brad got here, that was stripped away from guidance completely and give it to Miss Lesko.
It's been at least a year, if not 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Brad came on board, and this is what was going on.
Okay.
So, all right. So how are the Wilmington interviews conducted? Who's doing those?
Ms. Lesko.
She is doing, okay. All right.
Is there
So
a
everyone
reason
should be-
that changed? Sorry, go ahead.
So first round notifications, they're going out next week?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there a reason that changed from the guidance to?
I wasn't here when it changed. So
I think it would make more sense that guidance, I mean, it would be something I'm not going to be on here, but it would be my recommendation that, you know, we consider going back to guidance to doing those. I'm not sure why we have
I can see your understanding, Lisa. I think, was it Melanie? You still on the call? Is Melanie out there?
Yes.
She is.
Just a question, Melanie. Maybe you could answer this.
So there was some turnover and some
Were
changes.
were you interim when the decision was made? Just educate me. Thank you.
It was during everything. It was during his leaving, my becoming interim. There was changes in guidance, different job descriptions kind of being shifted, and Jenna actually stepped up and really took admissions over and
Yep.
she did a really good
Done a
job.
great job.
Yeah.
We needed it.
I'm not knocking that, but I don't know what qualifications an administrative assistant would have to be interviewing somebody. But I would definitely.
Which is why I discontinued the practice, Lisa.
Yeah, okay.
I think one of the reasons why the change was made to centralize it, when you have multiple people, you have to work really hard to calibrate scoring on interviews, because you want whoever you want, you don't want an easy score and a tough score. You need to be able to calibrate all of the scores so that it's fair regardless of who you get for the person doing the interview. So I think that was one of the reasons why it was tried to centralize it as much as possible. And that, to me, that makes sense. It's a very subjective thing, and we want to make sure we remove as much subjectivity as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I would even at that point, I'd take a look at maybe even getting Jeff Albert involved in that process too. Somehow, again, just my recommendation to, if we can get it back to, guidance, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Noted. All right, before we go towards executive session, I just want to recognize our 3 members who are leaving, who have served very long times. Mr. Gillis, I have you down as 36 years. Is that true? You would have been just a baby then.
No, I'm only like 28 years.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
36 years.
Yeah.
36, wow.
Jeez,
But
Jimmy.
I do have a couple of comments though, Patty, if I may.
Okay.
One, the facilities subcommittee, and I know I sent a memo up, but you
Right.
discuss that later, but
Sure.
who is the facilities subcommittee?
I'm the chairman, Jim.
Yes.
Okay, I really recommend that we start moving and start thinking about planning for 10, 20, 30 years from now, which we started to do 3 years ago. And with all the turmoil we had, that fell by the wayside. And I think it's imperative that we try to step up and plan ahead, because vocational education is certainly going to be at the highlight of all education. And as you read from my memo, I really think that a vocational wing would be the way to go. But
Yes.
having said that, that's for discussion for facilities. And
Thank you, Jimmy. I'm
the road.
already running with, I'm already taking your advice. Thank you, Jim.
And the other issue was the personnel subcommittee. I don't think we have one, right?
No.
No, I would highly recommend that the next chair establish a personnel subcommittee meeting because for things, for instance, the superintendent search. We should have been talking about that as a personnel subcommittee to develop a plan and a strategy to bring to the full committee. Because when we asked Dr. Jackson to come on board, he agreed to do it. And I asked you why he withdrew from the process. And you said because he was thinking of retiring.
Right.
And then I asked you to call him, and you did, and thank God, because he's come on board and he's done a great job and he's agreed to do it for the 2 years. But I think that we need a vocational leader, a strong vocational leader, and that's going to take time and it's going to have to be a process. And I think that you have a lot of new members, and I wish you all the luck because Shawsheen deserves the best. And the personnel subcommittee can take the time, develop a strategy, bring it to the full committee for discussion and a vote on how to proceed forward. That's about it.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. And thank you for all your service and thanks for everything over all the years.
Yeah,
Mr.
Jim, I just wanted to say to you too, Jim, I know we've only worked about 6 years together, but we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. And best of luck on, I'm hoping it's going to be golfing and whatever you got planned going forward.
As much as I can, Lisa.
And you can invite me.
Good luck to you too.
Good
Thank
luck, Jim. I've only known you for 5 minutes, pretty much, but it's been great. Thank you so much.
Well, I wish all of you, as I said in my letter, be safe and good luck, and just keep Shawsheen and the Rams in the forefront.
Thank you,
I
Jim.
miss you, Dad.
Thank you.
For all
Miss you.
You can
Can I
always
say-
come back.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may, Mr. Moffett.
I just want to say thanks to Mr. Geddick for his service to Burlington. We've been very fortunate as a town to have him representing us. It's going to be a big loss. I known him. I know him prior to coming on the committee, but we're very fortunate as a town to have his long service, his commitment, and I definitely thank him. It's definitely over last year. It's been very much appreciated his support, and learned a lot from him, and definitely wish him all the best. And definitely to you too, Mr. Gals. Definitely appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it very much.
And I would like to make a note on Mr. Geddick, because what the public doesn't know, and probably the committee doesn't know, Mr. Geddick, as chairman of the facilities subcommittee,
You do know.
he used to meet every Monday morning with the clerk of the works and the construction people for all the facilities on the outside and all the building going on inside, with the health and the boilers and everything else. He sacrificed and gave up his time every Monday morning to meet with the clerk of the works and review everything that was going on and all the construction and all of the things that we had going on here. So that was over the last 4 or 5 years. And Mr. Geddick, I can't thank you enough. And I consider you a friend and a real professional. And Shawsheen is lucky to have you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Very much.
Very, very kind. I
you,
appreciate
Paul.
it.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, if I may,
Yep, Mr.
let's
Peterson.
not forget Glenn, who always brought his own unique perspective to everything.
Oh, yeah. We discussed him
We,
at,
I already gave him a big hug last time.
and then Miss Gal, well, Mr. Geddick I have 17 years, but it's got to be an even number, I would think. 18 years?
It's 18, Patty. Yep. you're right.
18, Paul. Great
Yeah.
job. Gonna miss you, Paul. Thank you.
Paul.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Paul.
it.
If you ever have a plumbing, listen, everybody, if you have a plumbing problem, call Paul.
He's too busy.
Well, he'll send somebody. He'll send the guy.
Best of luck.
Lisa has been on the school
Best
committee
luck,
for
Mr.
6
Gillis.
years. And thank you very much for all your help.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Lisa, you're the
What?
best.
Oh, oh, thanks, Ron. You'll
It's
be seeing
okay,
more of
Lise.
me, I'm sure.
Just got to know each other. A lot of tears tonight, folks. A lot of tears. Yeah.
Oh, we're losing
I
a
think
lot.
you're,
of
I think you're a
Oh,
good though, Ron.
Lisa's
It's
leaving?
okay.
I didn't know that.
Well, Nancy, you're always the last to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody tells me nothing.
Nobody tells you, right? In
Yeah,
Bedford, the
nobody tells
news,
me anything either, Nancy.
the news doesn't get to bed.
I mean,
The
I'm
news never
always-
gets to
Lisa
Bedford.
just
I'm
found out.
always going to be the newbie. Brian, you're the newbie, but I think I'm going to be the go-to newbie.
It's okay.
Yeah,
We
well,
love you,
Nancy,
Nancy.
I like. I
Newbie's
hope.
coming in after Brian. Don't worry, Nancy.
We love you, Nancy.
Yeah, and speaking of that,
Lisa,
Nancy, speaking of that, you better get on Brad about that policy, or not policy, but the procedures we had about incoming
yeah,
school committee members,
yeah.
because it's really
Oh,
essential,
yeah.
especially with these people coming on.
got to get Patty to do that.
Yes, I've already been on him. Yep, that's gonna.
All right.
Got to
Yeah.
get Patty on him. Lisa, it's been
I've
great.
had it.
We really locked horns, and we locked on the same page too. It's been great.
Oh, you'll be seeing more of me than now that I'm off.
Oh, no, wait a
Oh,
Patty, can I say,
I'm
I'd
starting
like
on my
to say
first
something?
appointment tonight.
those phone calls, all those phone calls.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, still calling me.
Yes, Mr. Gillis.
I'd like to
miss you
say
guys.
something about Charlie Fiore. He's coming on as the Wilmington representative. He's in the police department in Wilmington, town of Wilmington. He's been a resident for years. Shawsheen grad, his son's a Shawsheen grad. Comes with no agenda, just wants to help the school as much as he can. And I think that last winter, you people may have heard of Fiore family and the Christmas lights and
Oh,
everything
that's right.
that went on across the country.
Yeah,
Nice.
Well, that's the Fiore family and the son that did all the lights, and they won the 50,000. So maybe we can get them to make a donation.
awesome.
All right. Take
Well,
us
maybe
out
you
to
should
dinner.
School.
decorate for
Scholarship
We can do
fund,
the school.
The scholarship.
Spent more
fund.
than that, though.
We can have
scholarship
he and his
fund.
son
Awesome.
decorate the school for the holidays.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or at least add an ST to his decorations.
Right.
All righty, now we need to go into executive session. So I need a motion.
So
Come on.
moved.
Motion.
Need it read as written. If someone,
I'll make a motion that we go to executive session pursuant to General Laws C-30A, Section A2, to conduct negotiations with the non-union personnel the superintendent of schools.
Second.
I already got a second.
Second,
Mr. Fusco,
Yes.
Ms. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Gillis,
Yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Geddick,
Yes.
Mr. Asbedian,
yes.
Mr. Moffett,
Yes.
Ms. Gallagher,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are going into executive session at 8:31 PM.
Mr. Chairman, just to interrupt for just a moment, you
Okay.
need to notify the public whether or not you will be returning to public session after executive session. So
all
you need to
right.
make that notification now.
We will be returning. We will be returning after executive session into public session.
To adjourn.
No, not to adjourn.
Oh, okay.
We will have, hopefully we'll have some discussion
Oh,
and then
sorry.
in favor. Oh, wait.
Aye.
Opposed.
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Geddick,
Aye.
Mrs.
Yes.
Best of luck.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Gallagher, Mr. Peterson, Ms.
Aye.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Welcome.
and Mrs. Muse says aye. We are
Thank you,
adjourned.
Paul, Jim, and Lisa.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Be safe, everyone.
Come and
Thank you,
see us.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, bye, Jim.
Come and see
Thank
us
you.
sometime. We'll have a
Bye,
big
Paul.
celebration.
Good night.
Thanks, Paul,
Take care.
Jimmy, Lisa.
See you, Lisa. I'll talk to you.